Hey, what's going on? It is the third week of November, and this is Comics on TV. I'm Mike.
And I'm Kevin, your old buddy Jump Street.
He's actually going to be helping out with this episode also this week, but we're going to talk about Constantine, we're going to talk about The Walking Dead, and we're also going to be talking about Gotham.
Yeah, because we wanted to make it much shorter.
First and foremost, let's go into Constantine. Great episode, inspired by Hellblazer #1, direct from the comics.
Yeah.
There was a few changes. Papa Midnight wasn't involved and everything like that,
Right.
but a solid episode.
Totally dark. I gotta say, what an episode. Little spoiler alert, you know. He cons his friend into dying a slow, painful, and horrible death after carving symbols into his face.
Poor Gary.
Whoa.
Well, the thing is, let's start off by saying Gary, Gary found this person that had this demon inside of him, and Gary thought that he exorcised this demon. But
True.
what Gary did was he unleashed it on the world. He undid what this shaman took, his heart and soul to make happen. This shaman didn't want to do it, but he did it, and it's the only thing that can hold this demon. It's a very strong demon.
I understand, but at the same time...
So Gary caused all this.
Yes, but isn't Gary just like a heroin-addicted piece of crap of a human being?
He is, but he isn't, because...
Oh, he has moral high ground somewhere?
Well, it's because of what happened in Newcastle. Goes back to this pilot episode. You know how John, was in the nut house and everything like that, trying to escape this whole thing?
Right.
Well, Gary's the same way. This is how Gary coped. He decided to be a drug addict. And John can't trust him because, honestly, John goes back to that age-old thing. The people that he cares about, the people that he brings along with him, they die.
Yeah, well, he's like the ultimate anti-hero. He's all dark and morally strained.
Yeah, and it's taken a toll on Zed. Zed's looking at him. You can see her like all starry-eyed every time she looks at John. But John also is starting to care about her, and he's unsure how deep down the rabbit hole he wants to take her.
Yeah, but didn't he also say she was a bit of everything? So I mean, what's that mean?
Yeah, I like Zed a lot. This episode did not have Chaz in it. Did not have Papa Midnight.
We like Papa Midnight.
Yeah, we like Papa Midnight. We're next week's all about him. But this week it just made me sad. I was sad.
Well, no, that's good because I mean, obviously Gary must have had some morally redeeming characteristics that would make you think that overall it's worth it to be sad about his death, even though ultimately this speaks to heroin addiction, the things it can do to you, that type of thing. If you've ever seen somebody go through something like that, it is sad. Yeah. I mean, it's an awful thing, but did he deserve what happened to him? Did he deserve it because he's a drug addict?
Well, he
deserve it because he might just be a douche. Pick one.
He chose. I mean, I know John. It seemed to me as a viewer that John kind of coaxed him into it because he looked up to John so much, but he ultimately made that decision. John presented him with the decision of sacrificing himself, and he chose to do it.
Yeah, but Gary's like the moon to John's sun. He can't shine without him.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a sad thing to be codependent in that kind of
So, poor Gary. I mean, honestly, strongest Constantine episode yet.
I would say it's one of the most complete of the season.
Yeah. Very, very much. So, moving on, going to another great show, The Walking Dead on AMC.
Speaking of which, just to tag on Constantine, this year hasn't been good for eyeballs either. Okay, now we can do Walking Dead.
The eyeball? Yeah. Okay, wait a minute, because he's a big Sons of Anarchy fan, and I am too, and man, if you're watching Sons of Anarchy...
The strain.
Nobody likes eyeballs on TV. I guess
it's a new thing.
Yeah, the rating board doesn't care about eyeballs.
Yeah.
But zooming in, we're going to The Walking Dead, which is pretty much another solo mission, but not really, because we kind of saw him leave a couple episodes ago to go after Beth. So,
but at the same time, the real focus I feel of this episode is Carol and Daryl. How funny it rhymes! But there was great tension generated by the two least talkative characters out of all the survivors.
Yes.
So I think that's great. It really gave them a chance to shine and kind of open up, not just to the watching audience, but to redefine their relationship a little bit and to each other to open up, which I think that kind of character development, with the tension that was building, it really played on the character interactions to do that, as opposed to the standard, we're being, set upon by walkers for this, that, or the other.
I mean, it was definitely, there was an underlying focus on abuse. And where certain abuse came from. We all know that Carol, from the beginning of season 1, Carol was abused by her husband, Ed. and she was verbally abused, physically abused. But then they don't really talk about Daryl's abuse. Daryl was abused by his father and his brother, and they've both grown into totally different people throughout this Walker apocalypse.
Well, I think
even
the
stronger.
switch.
Yeah.
I think the switch is that they've turned out to each other's starting place. Meaning, Daryl started as a loner, but he's developing all these relationships that help to ground him more. Whereas Carol started out being almost codependent and fully grounded in her relationships, and has become now more of a loner.
Yeah.
It's a nice character switch to see them play off each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. To be completely, that's true. It's true. I mean, you've seen Carol change so many ways. I mean, just to give a few examples, and they seem to show it via fire, which I thought was kind of amusing. First, you have her losing her daughter Sophia, and the barn burns down after Sophia is discovered to be a walker. And then later down the road, she's developing a new life in the prison, and the prison burns down, and she has to find a new way. And then she goes and finds her group trapped in Terminus, the group that decided to push her aside, and she burns Terminus down to the ground. And here's a whole new Carol, again, trying to figure out her way.
If you take that symbolism, you could also say it's something of a phoenix-like rebirth for her. Each time there's some event of fire in her life where it helps to mold and shape her. Hence the whole maybe trial by fire euphemism for her to become, I don't want to say hardened, but definitely a different and more focused person. So, did you see Daryl's big shout out to her where he wrapped the bodies?
Oh yeah,
in the
so he
actually
stopped. He stopped her at the door and was like, she was going to take those the mother and daughter walkers out, and he was like, no. Right. You go back to bed. I'll handle this. Daryl is very, very conscious of people around his feelings, the people that he cares about now. This is his family.
Right.
And he really, really cares about Carol, and it almost takes him back a little bit that Carol's become so cold. Right. And he almost puts her to the test later, especially when it comes to a newcomer. Oh, God, I always forget everybody hates Chris's name. Oh, God.
You're asking the wrong guy there, fella.
I know.
Here.
I always look at it.
Let me say this, though.
Noah.
While you're doing
Noah.
that, okay,
Noah.
there you go.
The kid Noah.
I don't remember. What?
Noah.
Okay.
Everybody hates Chris. He decides to rob Carol and Daryl, and they're like, that's the worst idea ever.
Yeah, you
There's
can tell
two
that's not going to be good.
cold killers.
Yeah.
But the thing is, ultimately, when they're faced with a decision, Daryl almost taunts Carol into being the bad guy by being the bad guy himself.
Right.
But he ends up...
bad cop, bad cop?
Bad cop, but makes Carol make that ultimate decision to be a good person and kind of making her turn around.
Well, I think it shows what truly noble characters they are in and of themselves, but also the transformation that they've been through. I think that because they rally against that outwardly, for what the people around them see, as opposed to these moments alone or just the two of them together where they have a chance to really get out of their enigmatic shells and be themselves. Yeah. I think that really is a focus for this episode, was really refreshing, because it's not one thing onto the next to some action thing to something else. It was real character development, which gave it a very solid feel for this episode.
It really did. It helped it all the way across the board. As I said, Noah, throwaway character, but we all know who's in the bush now. From a couple episodes back when Daryl was like, hey, I need your help, and this is some mystery dude behind me. It's Noah, because Carol gets hit by the one effing car in the Walker apocalypse.
Yeah, well, what's really funny is Daryl, ever the optimist, has to say to her, a reminder that they're not ashes yet.
Yeah.
Who knew, coming from Daryl, that he would be such an optimist?
Yeah. I mean, Daryl's taking a lot of turns, and... I can't wait to see what happens because they're reuniting with the group next week. We're getting Rick and everybody back into the fold. And you know what happens when you mess with Rick in the group? Rick doesn't play that.
Oh, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. The Rick something or another. It's form of
Ricktatorship.
Yeah, that's it. The Ricktatorship. Yeah! So, going out of this episode, you got to wonder, is Carol ever going to be able to forgive herself? Will Daryl talk even more? Are they going to grow as characters? I don't know. Check future episodes of The Walking Dead to find out. Do you think?
Oh, God. I usually don't laugh this much. Pretty much, we're going to be talking about our next show, which is... Gotham.
Oh,
My favorite.
Awesome.
Gotham. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Last night's Gotham had a lot going on. It wasn't just about Jim or, the title of the episode was called Harvey Dent, which it was very, very light on Harvey Dent.
You think?
Yeah. Pretty much, it starts off pretty much where it ended last week. Pretty much Jim needs to find a place for Selina to stay, and it's Wayne Manor.
Yeah, the better part is he comes home, Barbara's gone, we all hope she's dead. But whatever, she left a note.
He didn't come home till after he dropped off Selina at the Wayne Manor, though.
No, he came home before, remember? Because she's like, oh, looks like she left you, the note on the card.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right.
Nobody cares about Barbara being gone.
Apparently nobody cares.
But what I do care about is, the introduction, the love story.
What, of Bruce and Selina
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yeah, they're so adorable.
Yeah, it's so cute, young love, whatever.
Albert didn't like it.
No, he called her a cheeky little minx, which is cute because, like you said, it's not a hotel. Apparently, she does her own thing. You can see her independent spirit and her toughness in the character, although it's a weird amalgamation of like Kerry Russell and Michelle Pfeiffer in the girl that they have playing her.
Yeah.
It's almost unnaturally hard to watch sometimes because if you look at her like directly in the eyes, you turn to stone or something. I don't know.
Like she's Medusa.
Yeah, but no, she's doing a great job. Doing a great job as Selina Kyle. I thought the interplay between her and Bruce was actually really good because you see him develop his attachment to her, I guess.
And it's what he needed. He was taking everything so serious, and she kind of broke it up and actually gave him tips to be a better Batman later.
Well,
it's like, people don't wear gloves to have fights.
Yeah, well, I think she also gave him a little bit more of the anger he's already got in the fact that she basically called him a wuss and told him to step it up because it's not like that out in the real world and that he needs to really get it together if he's going to. I think it gives more to what you know is going to happen later in his development that somehow lights more of a fire underneath his ass to be Batman later on.
Yeah.
So
then, we will talk about Harvey a little bit. He's a lawyer, shocker,
DA, whatever.
I think they just jumped too much into him being kind of angry, Two-Face-ish a little bit. I don't like what they do.
What, too early?
Too early.
Well, I liked his Two-Face face because it made his nose look really long and it made him look like
he's really obsessed with this Lovecraft guy. And I mean, I don't know anything about Lovecraft.
I think it's a stretch for him to tie him into the Wayne murders, although there clearly may be a connection. I don't like the way he's playing it because ultimately the person that's going to have to suffer is going to be Selina in this as the eyewitness, which I'm sure that'll become problematic. She can only stay safe at Wayne Manor for so long, and based on the previews, it looks like things go south quick next week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, supposedly they now have a Scooby-Doo gang of good guys, Montoya and her partner, and Jim, Jim, and now Harvey. They're like the super secret, we're good guy team that are going to crush everything from behind. Even Harvey doesn't know about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I felt like Harvey's getting a little betrayed, especially since he put his neck out for Jim.
Who are you talking, Bullock?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But, Harvey Dent, the character, we know some guy that looks like him, and that's all I see when he's on screen, and it's particularly really annoying. But anyway, the point is that as a character, they are trying to push him in the same way that they initially kind of pushed the Riddler on you.
Yeah, I wasn't sold, and I'm still not sold on the Riddler. The Riddler had his moment this week where he set them on the right track. Good job, Nigma. But other than that, I mean, it feels forced. What doesn't feel forced is the greatness that is the Penguin.
Yes, once again, another solid performance and episode with the Penguin in it. His development, I think, is the underpinning of what moves this forward, because I'm almost more interested to see him kill Fish Mooney, because God, it's got to happen soon, right? And exact his revenge on her, hopefully this season. You guys don't know this, but we watch the episodes as they come on TV. We don't watch them in preview. We don't see them beforehand and then formulate a strategy as to what we're going to talk about. We watch the episodes and bring you our take on them. So when I say, oh, I hope it happens this season, it's because I don't know. I don't read the news to forward the episode because I don't want to find out. I want it to be a surprise and watch it as it happens.
Well, supposedly this whole week was Fish's plan. I mean, you got this guy pretty much coming out of Blackgate to go get therapy because Blackgate doesn't have.
Yeah, it's not Arkham.
It's not Arkham, which
is another twist at the end that you find out.
You find that Arkham is being open and everything because it's needed because Blackgate's so underthink. But Fish has this whole plan that it was a pointless part of the episode. It was only to facilitate getting Blackgate open, in my opinion. I mean, getting Arkham.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's true as well, I believe. I also think that
I'm tired of Fish. I'm tired of her.
Yeah, I really think the Penguin needs to kill her quick, but we'll see what happens. The other thing, to close out the episode.
Oh, we're gonna close it out because it's something that Josh really, really, really wanted to happen.
He did request it last week.
Yeah, and we're going to show you the clip right now of Josh requesting it.
So, like, nobody cares about Barbara because you didn't really introduce the lesbian sex scenes that everybody really wanted to see.
Wow.
It happened.
Well, there you go.
Oh my God. And that concludes ComicWow TV this week.
Yep.
Wow, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you comment at the bottom right here.
Down there. Like us, hate us, whatever.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Oh, and find us on Twitter at @TheRealComicWow.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have a Vimeo channel that you can watch us on Vimeo in full HD. We built this network for you. Please, ComicWow.com. Start your profile today. You know, create your own videos, create your own blogs.
Yeah, upload, put your content up, share with our online community. It's your social network for the comic book industry and all the pop culture that surrounds it, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
See ya.